They didn't just drop a trailer. They dropped a warning. Fallout Season 3 is not slowing down. It's not calming down. It's not rebuilding. It's escalating. And if you thought the wasteland was chaotic before, this trailer makes one thing clear. Control is the new weapon, and nobody is safe from it. The Fallout Season 3 trailer wastes no time reminding us that Hank pressed that button. The world we're stepping back into is not the same one we left behind. There's this heavy feeling hanging over everything, like the air itself knows something is wrong. The trailer opens with quiet. Too quiet. Settlements that once echoed with arguments and gunshots now feel off. People standing still. Raiders hesitating. Entire groups moving like they're thinking the same thought at the same time. And then we hear it, fragmented dialogue about Phase 2 fully activated. That's when it clicks. The Enclave isn't operating in the shadows anymore. They're executing a plan. And whatever those micro-devices are doing, it's bigger than simple mind control. It feels like behavioral correction on a massive scale. The scary part? Some areas actually look safer. Less violence, less chaos. But in the wasteland, peace that comes too easily is never real peace. It's control. The trailer hints that certain communities are thriving under this new order, with advanced tech appearing where it shouldn't be. Clean water systems restored, power grids flickering back to life, supplies arriving with military precision. And standing behind it all is the quiet implication that the Enclave is offering salvation. That's the hook. They're not presenting themselves as villains. They're presenting themselves as the solution. And that makes them more dangerous than ever. Meanwhile, inside the vaults, tension is boiling. Steph's face flashes across the screen more than once, and she does not look cornered. She looks calculating. The vault dwellers who once demanded justice now seem divided. Some want her punished. Others are starting to question whether she might have saved them from something worse. That's the psychological twist the trailer leans into. What if the Enclave's involvement actually stabilizes certain vaults? What if Phase 2 prevents total collapse? But then we get quick, unsettling shots of vault systems glitching, security doors locking unexpectedly, and people being isolated under the excuse of recalibration. It suggests the vaults were never meant to be independent. They were test chambers waiting for activation. And if that's true, then everything the dwellers believed about safety and cooperation was just part of a longer experiment. Lucy's presence in the trailer feels different this time. She's not wide-eyed and hopeful. She's alert, hardened. There's a moment where she looks at someone who's clearly been affected by Hank's devices, and instead of sympathy, there's strategy in her eyes. She understands now that kindness alone won't survive what's coming. Maximus appears alongside her, and their dynamic feels stronger, more unified. They're not reacting anymore. They're preparing. There are hints that they're searching for answers beyond the vaults, possibly tracking signals tied to the Enclave's network. And then, almost like a ghost in the background, the new California Republic is teased. Flags, armor, structured formations moving with purpose. The NCR looks organized, maybe even powerful again. If anyone has the resources to counter advanced mind control tech, it's them. But the trailer doesn't confirm alliance. It suggests tension. Because if the NCR sees the Enclave restoring order in places they failed to protect, that's political warfare waiting to explode. The most chilling line in the trailer isn't shouted. It's whispered. You can't fix the wasteland. You can only program it. That single sentence defines the entire tone of Season 3. This isn't just about survival anymore. It's about free will. It's about whether humanity deserves the chaos that comes with choice, or the safety that comes with control. And the trailer makes it painfully clear that choosing sides won't be simple. Because for the first time, the villain's plan almost makes sense. And just when you think the trailer is focusing only on the Enclave's expansion, it shifts. The scale gets bigger. Way bigger. Because this isn't just about controlled settlements or vault experiments anymore. This is about the entire wasteland reacting to something it doesn't fully understand. The second section of the trailer leans hard into consequences. We start seeing cracks in Hank's so-called perfect system. Yes, some people are calmer. Yes, certain violent groups seem neutralized. But the wasteland doesn't operate on balance. It feeds on power vacuums. Raiders who weren't affected by the signal are adapting fast. They're studying the changed behavior of their former rivals, and once they realize what's happening, they exploit it. The trailer hints at ambushes, where controlled individuals hesitate at critical moments. It shows settlements that trusted the new peace getting overrun because their defenders literally cannot access aggression the way they used to. That's the flaw Lucy warned about without even saying it. You can't remove brutality from a brutal world and expect it to stay standing. Then the trailer pivots to Lucy and Maximus more directly. There's a noticeable shift in Lucy's presence. She moves with intention now. No wasted motion. No naive optimism. She's asking harder questions. We hear her voice layered over tense imagery. If someone can flip a switch and change who we are, were we ever free? That line hits hard. Because this season isn't just about reversing the devices. It's about identity. If those micro-implants can suppress aggression, what else can they suppress? Fear? Love? Loyalty? The trailer suggests that some people affected by the signal start experiencing gaps in memory, moments they can't explain, actions they don't remember choosing. That psychological horror angle is subtle but powerful. It's not dramatic head explosions or instant transformations. It's quieter. People doubting themselves, families questioning whether their loved ones are still the same person. Maximus, on the other hand, feels like he's stepping fully into leadership. The trailer frames him differently, not as someone torn between duty and survival, but as someone who understands the stakes. There are strong hints that he's reconnecting with Brotherhood resources, or at least confronting what remains of that structure. But instead of blind loyalty, there's hesitation in his expression. The Brotherhood thrives on order and control. So if the Enclave is imposing a different kind of order, are they enemies or competitors? That tension simmers throughout this part of the trailer, because ideologically, they're not that far apart. Both believe humanity needs structure. The difference is who gets to define it. And then comes a chilling escalation. The trailer teases that Phase 2 wasn't the final step. There are coded transmissions referencing synchronization percentages, stability thresholds, and something called expansion protocol. That phrase alone changes everything. It suggests the devices might not be limited to the people already implanted. Maybe they can be activated remotely in waves. Maybe there are dormant carriers who don't even know they're infected yet. The paranoia that idea creates is insane. Anyone could be a trigger waiting to be flipped. Trust starts to feel impossible. We also get our first strong suggestion that the NCR is not just watching. They're mobilizing. There are brief but clear glimpses of organized patrols and heavy equipment moving through desert terrain with purpose. But the tone isn't triumphant. It's tense. Because if the NCR moves against the Enclave directly, it's not a small skirmish. It's full-scale war. And war in a partially mind-controlled wasteland is unpredictable. Imagine soldiers on the front lines suddenly overridden mid-battle. Imagine commanders not knowing which of their troops are compromised. The trailer plants that fear without fully explaining it, and that's what makes it effective. One of the strongest emotional beats in this section revolves around division inside communities. We see arguments breaking out, not loud, chaotic ones, but controlled, desperate ones. Some people argue that if the Enclave is restoring water and power, maybe submission is worth it. Others call it slavery dressed as salvation. That moral debate feels central to Season 3. Safety versus freedom. Stability versus autonomy. And there's no easy answer, because the wasteland has always punished idealism. Toward the end of this section, the trailer drops another unsettling moment. A brief visual of someone close to Lucy hesitating during a critical confrontation. Their expression goes blank for a split second, just long enough to imply interference. Lucy's reaction isn't panic, it's realization. The enemy isn't just out there anymore. It's inside people she trusts. That quiet dread lingers as the music builds. If Season 2 was about uncovering hidden truths, Season 3 looks like it's about surviving those truths once they're unleashed. The systems are active, the factions are mobilizing, and the biggest question isn't who will win, it's who will still be themselves by the end of it. And just when the trailer makes you think this is all about factions and large-scale control, it narrows the focus. It gets personal. Because Fallout has never just been about war. It's about people trying to hold on to who they are while the world keeps trying to reshape them. And this third section of the trailer makes that painfully clear. We finally get a stronger presence of Cooper, and the tone around him feels heavier than ever. He's not cracking jokes the same way. The charm is still there, but it's layered with exhaustion. There's a brief voiceover from him that sounds almost reflective, almost tired. You survive long enough out here. You stop asking if it's right. You just ask if it works. That line says everything. Cooper has always adapted to the wasteland's brutality, but now he's facing something different. You can shoot raiders, you can outrun bounty hunters, but how do you fight something that rewrites people from the inside? The trailer hints that Cooper is getting closer to answers about his family. We see flashes of Colorado again, damaged structures that don't look completely abandoned, signs that someone has been maintaining equipment. It's subtle, but it suggests that Barbara might truly be alive, and if she is, she's not just hiding, she may be connected to something bigger. There's this uneasy implication that the Enclave's long-term plans stretch back further than we realized. What if Cooper's family wasn't just a personal mission? What if they were always part of a larger design? That possibility shifts the emotional weight completely. Because if Barbara is involved with the Enclave in any way, willingly or not, Cooper isn't just chasing reunion anymore. He's chasing truth. And truth in this world always comes at a cost at the same time. The trailer carefully builds toward the reunion we've all been waiting for, Lucy and Cooper crossing paths again. But it doesn't show the moment fully. It teases it. There's a quick exchange of dialogue layered over tense music. Lucy's voice, stronger now, less innocent. Cooper responding with that familiar tone, but more guarded. You can feel the growth in both of them. Season 1 Lucy would have run toward him with relief. Season 3, Lucy might run toward him with questions. Because here's the twist the trailer keeps hinting at. What if Cooper himself is at risk of being compromised? He's been out in the wasteland longer than most. He's crossed paths with unknown tech, unknown factions. There's a blink and you miss it moment where he grips his head like he's fighting something internal. It could mean nothing. Or it could mean everything. If Hank's devices are more widespread than we think, even someone like Cooper might not be immune. That possibility adds insane tension to their dynamic. Imagine Lucy finally reuniting with someone she trusts, only to question whether he's still fully himself. That's not just suspense, that's emotional devastation waiting to happen. Meanwhile, the trailer expands on the Enclave's messaging. We hear a clean, controlled broadcast cutting through the wasteland static. Order is not oppression, order is survival. The delivery is calm, confident, not evil. And that's what makes it dangerous. They truly believe they are fixing the world. They're offering protection from raiders, restored infrastructure, medical aid. Structure. For many broken communities, that sounds like hope. And the trailer doesn't shy away from showing that some people accept it willingly. There are glimpses of settlements flying new insignias, civilians lining up for treatment, smiles that feel slightly too rehearsed. It raises the question, if someone chooses control because it makes their life safer, is it still wrong? Maximus seems to be wrestling with that exact dilemma. His loyalty has always been tied to structured power systems, but now he's seeing the human cost up close. There's a moment where he looks at Lucy after witnessing the effects of the implants on a group of civilians. No words are spoken, but the look says it all. This isn't about ideology anymore. It's about people losing pieces of themselves. The emotional center of this section lands on identity, not survival, not politics. Identity. The trailer repeatedly cuts between characters staring at their reflections, in cracked mirrors, in power armor visors, in water surfaces. It's symbolic without being heavy-handed. Who are you when someone else can alter your instincts? Who are you when fear or anger or even love can be dialed down? And then comes the most chilling suggestion yet. A classified Enclave screen flashes briefly with the words, Phase 3, Behavioral Alignment. That phrase is terrifying because Phase 2 might just be stabilization. Phase 3 sounds permanent. If that happens, this isn't just about controlling aggression anymore. It's about redesigning humanity. By the end of this section of the trailer, the tension isn't explosive. It's suffocating. Cooper chasing answers that might break him. Lucy fighting to protect free will in a world that's starting to prefer safety. Maximus standing at a crossroads between structured order and personal morality. The wasteland has always been violent, but now it's becoming calculated. And calculated chaos is far more dangerous than random brutality. And then the trailer does something unexpected. It stops feeling like a slow psychological takeover and starts feeling like the edge of all-out war. This fourth section explodes with momentum. The Enclave is no longer just influencing quietly from behind the curtain. They're stepping forward, not publicly announcing themselves, not waving flags in celebration, but moving openly enough that nobody can pretend they're a rumor anymore. Their presence feels organized, surgical, intentional. Strategic deployments, precision strikes, areas of the wasteland being secured under the promise of stabilization. And every time they use that word, stabilization, it sounds less like help and more like occupation. The trailer makes it clear that Phase 2 created a shift. But Phase 3? Phase 3 looks like enforcement. We hear fragments of intercepted communication, mentions of compliance zones, mentions of resistance pockets. And for the first time, the word reconditioning is spoken out loud. That word lands differently, because reconditioning doesn't mean temporary control. It means permanent adjustment. It means rewriting behavior so thoroughly that rebellion doesn't even occur to you. That's when the scale widens again. The NCR is no longer hinted at in the background. They are preparing. Organized battalions moving with discipline, heavy armor rolling through desert highways that haven't seen structured military presence in years. The new California Republic doesn't look broken anymore. It looks threatened. And threatened powers respond aggressively. But here's where the tension sharpens. The NCR cannot fight an enemy that hides inside civilians. If entire communities are partially synchronized through Enclave tech, then every battlefield becomes morally complicated. You're not just fighting soldiers, you're fighting altered citizens. People who may not even know they're compromised. The trailer leans into that moral nightmare. There's a brief exchange of dialogue layered over rising music. If we hesitate, we lose. And the response, if we don't hesitate, we become